Walk Talk event. Oh my goodness. March 18th. Happy Tuesday. Guys, I can't believe it, but this time last year, I did my very first upload. I don't know how many of you guys saw it, but just for fun, if you like the channel, you ought to go back to my first video and check it out. It was actually one of my most popular videos for basically my first year. Who would have thought that a walking channel would be so much fun? Guys, I had the time of my life this past year. There were ups and downs. Sometimes I helped pick you guys up. Sometimes you guys helped pick me up. And I just want to let you know that my life is so much better for starting my YouTube channel. Today, just like last year around this time, I am now, 12, 13 days into having zero sugar. I'm starting to feel like somebody that knows a little something about diet and exercise, and that's how I always feel when I'm away from sugar. When I'm eating the sugar, I feel like, who is this guy trying to fool the world? But I don't know if you guys can tell, I already feel a little bit more sleek, a little bit skinnier, and I'm just happy as hell how fast the last year went by. I can't believe it went by so quick. Guys, this is why I tell you, if it only takes 90 days, a season, to change your life, and a year goes by so quick, then even if you've been procrastinating, delaying, keeping your head stuck under the pillow in the morning instead of putting your shoes on and walking with us, guys, it's never too late. I take that back. If you end up having a heart attack or stroke because you're waiting, then it could be too late. The key is to get out here now while you're healthy enough to do it. Remember, the people that want to walk the most are the people that are no longer physically able to walk. My thinking is, if we walk every single day, pretty soon, just like your dog Rufus, your body will literally start enjoying the walk. Here's a question I have for you venters. Over the course of the year, were there any of you that actually was surprised at how much you actually enjoyed taking your daily walk? Because let's be honest, sometimes you feel like it's like pulling teeth out here trying to get people to walk with me. If you ever notice when I'm out and about, there's very few people that are walking other than me. And some of the people that I used to see every day when I started are no longer walking. So let's go through our little mantra. We walk every single day. We drink water every single day, and we avoid sugar like the plague. And we believe that if you walk with us every single day for 90 days, you'll lose 20 to 30 pounds, and you'll end up being the healthiest version of you ever. Yay! By the way, I've seen a lot of people come and go through this neighborhood through the decades. I'm the only one still here. Some people would say, oh, that's nice. Some people would say, oh my God, that's sad. You know what? I don't think it's sad at all. There's something magical about being able to walk by houses and knowing that, hey, my friend Keely lived there and my friend Jason lived there. Let me tell you about my buddy Jason. Different Jason than Jason Hensley. This one was named Jason Webb. When I went off to Mesa to live with my mom for middle school, basically 6th and 7th grade, I was gone for 2 years. In that 2 years, my buddy Jason Webb ended up going to a middle school party. So 7th grade, he was spraying hairspray, big old can of Aquanet, from what I understand. Somebody started smoking a cigarette. Again, these are junior high kids, shouldn't have even been messing around with cigarettes, right? But somebody lit a match, and somehow the fumes from the spray caught fire, ended up absorbing on my buddy Jason's face and upper chest area. And just like they tell you in the movies, stop, drop, and roll, well, a bunch of people were trying to get him to stop, drop, and roll. Anyway, make a long story short, he ended up having burn wounds, and all throughout high school, he was going to school with us, and you just knew that he wasn't supposed to necessarily look the way he was. He had burn marks on him. But you never know what's going to motivate you down your path in life, you know? And my buddy Jason Webb, right now, is a fire chief here in Arizona, here in the Phoenix area. I don't know if he's in Phoenix or Glendale or what, but he's a fire chief. He would have never gone down that route in life unless he had become a victim of fire burns. Isn't that kind of interesting? And I'm sure if you guys did a little study on your friends, you would probably find some similar stories out there. Certain things happen to people and they change people. And you know what I hope every day? I hope every day that someone new hears my channel, decides to take a walk with us, and changes their life. Because I'm a firm believer that if you can just get the dominoes started, the dominoes will take care of themselves. And what I mean by that is, I can't help a person lose 150 pounds because I've never lost 150 pounds. But I'm really good at losing 20 to 30 pounds. And if a person can join me on a walk, start to lose 10, 15, 20 pounds, I think that creates momentum. Don't you guys? And you know as well as I do, we've all watched our favorite sports team. Sometimes the other team is better, but sometimes our team catches fire and gains momentum. And I'm a firm believer that no matter who you are, if you gain some positive momentum, you can do a lot of things. So, you might not be able to run a mile right now, you might not even barely be able to walk a mile, but if you put your shoes on and start walking with us every day for 10, 20, 30 minutes, you will eventually get to the point where you feel like you could run a mile. Does that mean you can? Probably not, but you could at least walk. So keep walking. Holy moly, I almost forgot that it was a year today, because technically it's March 17th for me, but by the time I upload this for tomorrow, it'll be 1 year. Mala, Sean, can you guys believe it's been a year? That is crazy. So there's one thing that you guys have learned, that you don't necessarily have to be a world-class athlete to be consistent, right? I have walked out here with you guys every day, and in some cases, you guys have been walking a lot further than I have. For however many miles I put on last year, you guys probably surpassed it, because a lot of you guys walk a lot farther than I do. When our videos were newer, one of our regulars that used to walk and talk with us all the time was this gal named Sherry Ann. Mala and Sean, you guys probably remember the name Sherry Ann. Sherry Ann was a little bit on the heavier side, and I quickly found out that Sherry Ann was the type that wanted to try every new gadget in the book, every new diet and exercise plan. She was willing to try it. And because of that, she had a lot of good qualities that one needs to lose weight. You gotta be willing to try stuff, right? But the one thing that hurts my feelings about Sherry Ann is the fact that what we needed for her to do was to not give up on walking. Now, I'm not saying she did. She could still be walking, and heck, she might even be watching the show right now, but I have a feeling that she kind of gave up on the walking thing. Guys, I don't care what exercise guru is out there that tells you anything different. Don't listen to them. The absolute best thing you can do for your health is start a walking routine. Sean, you were kind of pre-diabetic. You told me that you ended up going to your doctors and almost all your test results had improved. If it's that easy, just taking a nice, enjoyable walk, then why wouldn't everybody in the world do it? I am gonna try to work on this gut. I'm gonna use Kaizen. 1 minute I'm doing sit-ups for 30 seconds. The next day I'm doing it for a minute, and I'm gonna keep trying to go further and further in the name of getting abs. And then what am I going to do if those abs form? I'm going to celebrate with a giant chocolate cake. What better way to celebrate abs than to eat your way out of them? I think there's a lot of people that do that, don't you guys? They actually hit a goal, and then instead of continuing down that path, they go right back into their old habits. So that's the challenge I have for you guys. Let's see if we can all avoid going right back into our old habits. Wouldn't it be a shame, Sean, to get super healthy and then lose it back in the course of a year? It would be that easy, right? All it takes is a couple of weeks of not walking, not watching your diet, and before you know it, you're like, holy moly, I just lost a whole year's worth of progress. Let's not do that to ourselves. Let's keep going. For those of you that keep the little walking monitor and it tells you how many steps you're doing, golly, if you're doing 10,000 steps, keep going. That's really impressive. Now remember, make sure that you always wear the proper shoes and the proper socks. If you start developing a blister, don't try to battle through it. That's the one thing that can slow you down. One of the worst things that can happen to you if you're walking daily is to get one of those darn blisters. Same thing with chafing. If you're a big person and you're walking where everybody else says, oh my God, this is beautiful and wonderful and easy, you might be thinking, my God, I've got jock itch that the devil would cry over, right? So if you're dealing with chafing and jock itch and irritation, take a day off, get some spray powder, try to get past that. But here's the key, don't get past it by eating cake and ice cream while you're taking a day or two off to recover. Instead, keep drinking water, keep avoiding sugar, put whatever medicine you have to keep going. Mala, it was right here the other day where that kid said, nice outfit, and you've been making fun of me ever since. That day I had a baby blue shirt on, pink shorts, and then baby blue New Balance shoes to match it. So when he says nice outfit, it's because if you looked at it from top to bottom, it probably did look like a nice outfit, but baby blue and pink, not exactly the most manly of uniforms or most manly of outfits. So if you want to keep making fun of me for it, I'm okay with it. Joke away, Mala, joke away. Hey, a lot of you guys were kind of upset about that story that I shared the other day with the 340-pound woman crushing that little 10-year-old boy. Hi, how are you? I like it when we have stories that we go over where people comment and talk about it. And I can always tell when there's a stinker because sometimes nobody will put a thumbs up and nobody will talk about it. I've just come to the realization that those are the videos that people didn't necessarily like. Sometimes it's challenging saying, hey, we're gonna put up a video today. We put one up every single day. So every day it takes me a little bit longer to try to find something that'll be interesting. But again, very proud of myself that we were able to do it for a whole year. If you're new and you live in your own place, this wouldn't be a bad piece of furniture to get, right? Sometimes you can find a nice little love seat. That one actually reclines, so it's kind of movie theater style. And if I was 18 or 19 or 20 and maybe had my first little apartment or something, I wouldn't mind picking up something like that. Sometimes the best things you can get when you're young are free. As we get older, we get picky. Oh, I don't want something that's used. I want something that's brand new. And it starts to extend into other parts of our lives. I read this book once. You guys probably read this book too. It's called The Millionaire Next Door. And it was saying that if you want to look for a millionaire, sometimes you need not look any further than the man or woman that lives next door to you. Millionaires tend to be cheap and frugal. Now, I know not all of them, but in this book's case, it kind of talked about the cheap and frugal millionaire. The millionaire is the person next door that when you take all his assets and all the money he has in his bank account and his stocks and what have you, he's worth over $1 million. The way most people get there is they don't necessarily need to have the brand new couch. They can get a secondhand couch that just looks slightly used, right? Not necessarily horribly used. They can get a used vehicle. You know, if you're willing to get a vehicle that's 2 or 3 years old, a lot of times you can end up saving 10 or 15 grand off the price of that vehicle. I don't know about you, but when you're on the inside of your car driving, it's kind of hard to tell if you have a 2024 or a 2020 vehicle, right? It's a little bit easier to tell if your vehicle's from, 1995, like one of mine is. But again, it's one of those things where, because I was willing to drive around in an older vehicle, I had about a 4 or 5 year period there where I was able to avoid a car payment. I was able to save up, and then when the right opportunity arose, I was able to pick up my SUV. Sometimes if we just have a little patience, things happen. Every time I want to quit the channel, Mala or Sean or Terry will say, "You said you'd be okay with only having a dozen subscribers after a year. Now you've got over 800 and you're crying." Sometimes you want to vent and whine, but it doesn't necessarily mean you want to give up. And I think that's how life goes. The millionaire next door, a lot of times you would never know he had any money. By the way, billionaires do this too. Have you heard that billionaires to a T almost refuse to dress up like they're rich? It's because they're super smart. They know that if people knew they were worth $1 billion, they would be like targets. Walking up and down the street, people would want to literally abduct them just to get a hold of their money. So what do? They literally dress like they're bums. Seriously. There's actually a fashion line for ultra rich people, and it looks like bummy, scuzzy stuff that bums would wear. Bums. I bet you haven't heard anybody called a bum in forever. Another fascinating thing about doing a YouTube channel is sometimes you get some amazing comments, people that'll say, "Oh my God, I'm so glad I found your channel," or "Hey, I've been walking with you for a couple weeks. I'm starting to really enjoy walking." Through the last year, I've heard some amazing comments. One of the comments that I got just yesterday was some guy, his name I think was like Joe Schmo or something was his name, and he left a comment. You guys can even find this. It just happened in the last handful of videos. He goes, I forget what he said, but he ended it with, "I love you, bye." So I don't know who that is, but I just thought it was interesting. You see and hear so many comments, and I just thought it was fascinating. We've also gotten to touch on so many topics, from little kids being squished by their foster mom to, love triangles, right? We've also talked about judges that have let bad people out so that they go right into the community and repeat things. But we've also seen positive stories about how people that were 400 pounds are now only 150 pounds, how people have really changed their lives. What fascinates me is that it doesn't take that long to do it. If you had been walking with me for the past year, you probably lost quite a bit of weight. And here's the thing, even if you didn't lose a single pound, but you're walking every day, we saw a couple of videos with people that know what they're talking about, because I'm just the guy walking with you down the street. But certain experts even told us in certain videos that we watched together that when you're a little chubby and walking, you're probably healthier than the skinny guy that doesn't walk. So remember, don't really look at it from how your body looks. Look at it for how your mental outlook is, and how positive you feel, and how good it feels when you're walking. And if you have been walking every single day, guys, we have probably logged 500 or 600 miles together. God, that's pretty impressive, don't you think? Holy moly, that's a lot of walking. Guys, I want to take it a step further, and I want you guys to take it a step further this year. If you've been walking for a year, think about getting that gym membership. Think about doing some push-ups and sit-ups. If you haven't quite cut sugar completely out, why don't you take a little challenge? And for these last 30 days that I'm quitting sugar, why don't you quit sugar with me? I have not heard anybody say, "Jesse, I'm quitting sugar with you," because I know It's not something people want to do, but do it anyway. Go grab your son and your daughter's phone and go to YouTube and pick up and click on the Walk Talk Vent channel and hit subscribe. Don't tell them that you've done it, just do it. Do it. God, this time last year, I was recovering from my surgery, if you guys remember. And I was a couple months removed from my surgery, but my surgery literally took a chunk out of my ass because I had flesh removed around my tailbone. I mean, just a gnarly surgery. And I was feeling down and blue, but my goodness, walking with you venters has just made it that much nicer. And I don't even miss that piece that came out of my ass. I really don't. Anyway, thank you guys for walking with me for a whole year. I hope you guys are game to walk this second year with me. If you're not, I understand it's not the most exciting of channels, but again, I'll tell you one thing that is exciting. Us not having to go on medication as we get older, us not losing the ability to walk, us not getting type 2 diabetes, right? If we can walk and stay healthy, we're going to be able to enjoy our kids and our grandkids' lives for many years so that we can bug them and embarrass them like they need to be embarrassed. With that being said, my friends, go take an extra walk. It's been a year. I'm so happy you guys are with me. For once in your life, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.